guys, we're back. Sorry it's been so long. We've been kind of MIA, kind of busy lately, but we are bringing back the videos. And today we're going to talk about some of the reasons to go vegan and some of the benefits, that we didn't necessarily realize going into this, but that have came out of our experience of going vegan.
Yeah, initially, I went vegan, obviously, from my story that you guys have heard before, because I was sick, and I just was focusing on bringing down the inflammation in my body. But then once you get into it and you start reading and educating yourself a little bit more, you realize that it is the #1 thing that you can do to save this planet, because our resources are dwindling and we're going to really destroy things here if we don't stop now and make some changes. So, with that being said, we just compiled some facts. We try to keep it to 10 things, but we might have more than 10, I'm not sure. So anyways, we're just going to rattle off some facts for you, and hopefully it'll get you to investigate more and educate yourself a little bit more, and so you can make some good choices for your life and for the planet. So, here we go.
Okay, so the #1 thing I think when I became vegan was your mental clarity. There's just this extreme fog, and once you start changing your eating habits, it just goes away, and you don't realize it because prior you thought that was like a normal thing, like how you should feel.
That's the only thing you've ever known. If you've only been eating the standard American diet since the time you were born, you wouldn't know any better, but it really is pretty amazing what happens to your mental state once you stop putting all the poison into your body.
And the colors are brighter, and just you're so much more aware and in tune, and
just a lot more appreciation for the things around you too.
Just overall.
Yeah. So, of course, the loss of weight is always a good one. And, vegetarians and vegans tend to be slimmer and live longer lives than non-vegetarians.
The meat eaters. And on the subject of living longer, there was research done by the German Cancer Research Center stating that vegans on average do live longer than meat eaters. And it actually, being vegan actually slows down the aging process.
Something that I alluded to earlier, you can save the planet by changing your eating habits. Consuming meat is one of the worst things you can do for the earth. It's wasteful. It causes an enormous amount of pollution. If everyone in the United States stopped eating beef for 1 year, it would be equivalent to 9,007,489 trips to the moon and back. And that fact comes to us from Brendan Brazier book, Thrive Foods. I can't say enough about this guy. He is, and I will read it to you because I can't remember off the top of my head. I guess I should have had this open. Brendan Brazier is a former professional Ironman triathlete and a 2-time Canadian 50-kilometer ultra marathon champion. Again, all plant-based. This guy is amazing. There's a lot of stuff online. Look him up, Brendan Brazier, Brazier. He's also the creator of a plant-based, it's called Vega, a plant-based protein supplement that a lot of plant-based athletes use. So that's pretty interesting.
I have 2 of his books. It's pretty awesome. Definitely check that out.
But I mean, that's an incredible number. 9,007,489 trips to the moon and back. That's how much pollution we put out by eating meat, just in the United States. That's amazing. Does that make any sense?
Cry. Another reason for going vegan, meat is often contaminated with feces, blood, antibiotics, all of which makes animal products the top source of food poisoning in the U.S. I think if people knew, how these animals were treated and what is in that meat that you're then ingesting into your body, if everyone knew what that stuff really had in it and where it came from, people would not.
Yeah, and as an example, little old Hanford, California, where we live, just had Central Valley Meatpacking shut down just a few days ago. Because they were actually, I didn't watch the video footage because I don't need to, I know what happens. Apparently from the write-up on the Hanford Sentinel, they had written that they were dragging, a lot of the animals couldn't walk, and they were dragging them by their legs to kill them, and the those animals that are too ill to be walking should not be put into the food supply. And they ignored the entire thing. And apparently there's supposed to be a USDA official there watching every day, from what I read. I don't know if that's correct or not, but from what it sounded like in the news report, was that there's supposed to be someone watching there. So if there was an official from the United States, you know, sitting there watching and was letting that happen, you can imagine what happens everywhere else. I mean, ridiculous. So, you know, just keep that in mind the next time you're making a hamburger. By going vegan, each person will save more than 100 animals a year. That's 200 beautiful little eyeballs that you can save. You know, when you look into a cow's face, you can tell they're here with us. You know, they feel the same things that we feel. So if you love animals, stop eating them.
Yeah, and I think that's a big thing because before going vegan, I have always been an animal lover.
Yeah.
And I call myself an animal lover, but yeah, I was eating hamburgers and chicken and
I don't want to seem too high and mighty here either, because it's only been 3 years into this for me too. So, you know, I didn't know these facts before I started doing this, and you don't either. So all you got to do is just stop eating.
Yeah, and that's why we want to bring this information to you, because, you know, we were in the dark as well. And but once you realize that this stuff is going on and
you don't need it to survive. You absolutely, positively do not need to eat meat to survive, or animal products. You do not.
You don't. By going vegan, you can also help the world. By eating meat, it doesn't just hurt the animals, it hurts the people too. It takes tons of crops and water to raise farm animals. For instance, it takes 16 pounds of grain to produce 1 pound of animal flesh. That's huge. 16 pounds to produce 1 pound of meat. All this plant food that's going to feed the meat can be used more efficiently, and it can be fed directly to the people. And the more people that could go vegan, the more that can be used to feed the hungry.
Yep.
So,
absolutely.
Keep that in mind. 16 pounds to every 1 pound.
So go eat some lettuce.
Yeah.
Okay, and also, it's a healthier, happier you when you eat plant-based. According to the American Dietetic Associations, vegans are less likely to develop heart disease, cancer, diabetes, high blood pressure, all kinds of ailments you can avoid by eating a plant-based diet. You can also reverse a lot of things like heart disease. A lot of people don't know that they can actually reverse that. There's a doctor named Caldwell Esselstyn. Not sure on the spelling of that last word, but Google it. He's written a great book. I think he had something to do with forks over knives. I'm not sure. And then also T. Colin Campbell wrote the China Study. Talks about how you can turn cancer cells on and off by taking out protein, and that's animal protein. The plant protein did not cause cancer cells to be turned back on. So it's pretty interesting stuff. But you can get all the nutrition from your plant-based diet without eating meat, and it which slows you down. You know, eating meat causes you to have to digest so much harder than plant-based foods, and it makes you sick with all the cholesterol and the saturated animal fat. So you know, like I said, it does ease your digestion, and it's basically a cleanse, and it's a good way to eat.
Approved by me. And also, we're probably going to do a separate video about this, but just to touch bases on it, humans are vegan by design. I mean, do you feel the urge when you see a cow or pass a dairy to run out there and just tear its head off and start eating it?
Yeah, you ever want to go suck on a teat of a dairy cow?
No.
Not me.
Probably not.
No.
You know, do we have big claws and huge fangs for ripping and tearing into meat?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, and I don't think we're fast enough to even catch a bunny rabbit.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not going to happen.
And then, you know, if you look at cows and horses, and they're these big muscular animals, and what they're supposed to be eating, they're not necessarily fed that, but, you know, grass, and they don't eat meat.
They get all their protein from the grass out of the ground, and they're big, beautiful, huge animals with giant muscles, you know. So, and like I was telling Brittany earlier, you know, if these animals were fed the biologically appropriate diet that they're supposed to be eating instead of the things they are being fed, like soy and wheat and corn, and I mean, they feed them animal products. They actually feed them beef tallow. It's very, very scary. They're forcing them to be cannibals just so that they can have, you know, put on that weight faster so that they can get them to market faster and make money.
Oh, Freddie.
Oh, Freddie.
Freddie wants to join.
So, yeah, I've never, you know, had the urge to go rip the jugular out of a cow. And, you know, just a really, really simple example is if you put a child in a room with a lamb and some apples and bananas, you know, is the kid going to run over and start chewing on the lamb? No, he's going to run over and play with the lamb and hug the lamb, and he's going to go eat the bananas and the apples. So it's pretty, you know, easy thing to figure out. Doesn't take a rocket scientist.
So we'll go into more depth on that later.
Yeah.
But just, you know, give you a few things to think about.
Yeah, we have a lot of ideas here. So, let's see.
So fun facts.
Okay, so we're going to share this one. We can't remember all the stuff off the top of our head. So, the first thing I don't think we went over was livestock production uses 70% of all the arable land in the world. Okay, so of all the farmable land in the world, 70% is used for feeding livestock. And that 70% of land encompasses 30% of the surface of the planet. So 30% of this planet we all live on is being used to feed animals. That doesn't sound right, does it? No. We could feed an awful lot of people. So, let's see. What were we talking about with the water?
Oh yeah, we need to do the water.
Okay. Go ahead.
Okay, so factoring in irrigation for feed crops, at least 2,500 gallons, or it ranges from 2,500 gallons to 12,000 gallons of water to make 1 pound of beef. Okay, that is a lot of
Say
water.
those numbers again.
So at least a range of 2,500 gallons to 12,000 gallons of water is used to make 1 pound of beef.
Okay. And vegetables, okay. In contrast to that, we're talking about 2,500 gallons of water. That's the conservative estimate. Okay. In contrast to that, it takes 60 gallons of water to produce 1 pound of sweet potatoes. So that's huge. And I don't know about you, I kind of like sweet potatoes better than I like meat anyways. You don't have to do anything to a sweet potato to make it taste good. You can just cook it and it's awesome. So, let's see. We already did this one. Let's see. Did we do this one? A factory farm cow consumes 16 pounds of feed to produce 1 pound of beef. Yeah, we did that. Okay. We're just going over this here, sorry. It's a little rough, but we just wanted to get these points across.
Okay, it takes 20 times more land to grow beef for protein as it does to grow plants for protein. So, again, with the land that we are consuming, the land that we are using, it takes 20 times more to grow beef than it does to grow a plant-based protein.
It's a lot of waste.
So, yeah, a lot of waste.
Okay, so according to the U.S. Department of Agriculture, the amount of grain fed to U.S. livestock, if fed to humans instead, would feed about 800 million people. Okay, that is 2.7 times the entire U.S. population. 800 million people could be fed. I mean, that's amazing. Why are we doing this? Why are we letting people starve? I don't understand. There are some greedy, greedy people out there who are controlling our politicians, and people are starving. I don't understand this at all. It's very sad.
It's very sad.
You know. So,
You see all these commercials, you know, all these kids starving in all these third world countries, and here, you know, if we could do just simple little changes, I mean, they could eat, they could have food. What are we doing? Why?
I mean, we think we have problems. I'm sorry, when your entire day consists of trying to find water to drink, we don't have any problems here. We have rich people problems. We have rich people diseases. If we didn't eat the crap that we eat, the processed foods, the animal products, we wouldn't be sick. It's just the bottom line. So the last point we wanted to make was, and forgive me if I get any of this stuff wrong, but I've been reading this book called The Last Hours of Ancient Sunlight, and I find it, well, sort of depressing, but it's filled with really good information. Stuff that I don't think any of us think about or any of us can really wrap our heads around. But it's talking about how, you know, the things that we're doing now really aren't sustainable to this planet, and that we're going to run out of water pretty soon. We're going to run out of oil pretty soon, and when I say pretty soon, they're estimating 30 to 50 years. So the children that we're having now, they're going to have a real rough go of it if we don't change things really, really quickly. And just one example, one tree in the rainforest is responsible for taking in and releasing 3 million gallons of water. So when we're cutting down these rainforests in Costa Rica so that we can have more, you know, land for raising beef, we are, you know, essentially wiping out our water. And so, you know, I just don't think that, certainly as Americans, we don't understand what's happening. Like, we just think, oh, you know, especially where we live here, we just think, oh, the beef comes from here and it's normal and all that, but no, we're getting beef from places that we shouldn't be getting beef from. And by the way, our beef is subsidized by the United States government. If the government didn't subsidize our meat, we'd pay like $90 for one hamburger at McDonald's. You know, not even a quarter pounder, that little tiny, that little tiny hamburger.
Value.
Yeah, $90, people. So not only are we paying to subsidize as taxpayers, we're paying for the subsidies to these cattle farmers and these companies. So they're making money off of us. Then we're getting sick because we're eating the products, and it's giving us heart disease and cancer and diabetes and all these horrible things. So then we got to go to the doctor and we got to pay for that, and we feel like crap. And then all the people who don't have insurance, we're paying for them also. So if we really want to change things, we could really solve a lot of problems, you know, by just cutting out the animal products.
Yeah.
You know,
so crazy. That's crazy.
I don't know. So anyways, hopefully we didn't bum you out too bad.
We didn't. I didn't want to like push this on anyone, you know. But when you start this lifestyle, you just see this huge, big picture, and it's very eye-opening. And you know, no one really realizes it.
Yeah.
So we just want to kind of talk about the different points and. You know, hopefully it's open your eyes. Just some things to think about, you know, to get the wheels turning and kind of put things into perspective.
And we just want you to be healthy, you know.
Healthy and happy.
Yeah, we want our kids to grow up with people that are healthy and happy, so they can grow up healthy and happy, and you know, just the world to be a better place. So some stuff to think about. Again, Brendan Brazier's book, Thrive Foods. Huh? Oh yeah. So Brendan Brazier, Thrive Foods. And lots of, I mean, we just picked out like maybe 3 or 4, but he's got
lots
so
of facts.
many facts in this book.
Very eye-opening. He puts everything into perspective, and you're just like, whoa, what are we doing?
And then the other book, The Last Hours of Ancient Sunlight by Thom Hartmann. He spells his first name Thom, Hartmann, Hartman. So, good stuff. Check it out. We'll be back soon. Love you guys.
Till next time, stay healthy, friends.
Eat something green. Bye.